Hey, besties, welcome to the Nurse Aspect where we assess and evaluate. I'm Nurse Becca, I'm your host, and today we have my girl Tanesha. Welcome. I'm probably not gonna like her in a little bit because of where she used to work, and we'll get to
Vibe.
that. We'll assess and evaluate.
Just vibe.
Vibe what?
Just vibe.
Sure. Y'all nurses out there will see exactly what I mean. If you work in med surge and have anything from the department she used to work in, you know exactly what I mean.
Big ED. Big ED.
Calm down. ED. ED anywhere is a mess. Let me not say anywhere, but the ED, getting a report from the ED nurse.
It could be. It depends on your nurse, though. It really does depend on your nurse, but that's any unit. I feel like it really depends on your nurse.
But the ED be playing games. The ED be playing games, okay? Coming up with IVs that's barely in, telling me, oh yeah, the patient's fine. Patient's coming up, half unit of blood in, like blood pressure 70/30. Like, all right, let's get a rapid going.
All right, but you have to understand, right?
What's up?
While we giving a report, right?
Yeah.
You have another patient coming in that.
I'm sorry, you coming?
Let hear me out. Hear me out.
Talk carefully.
While we give. Let me tell you. Boom. Give me time. I'm trying to give a report. EMS 2 come in. Both of them my patient, right? One lady, they said they're not sure she's having a heart attack. Other person, they're not sure they're having a stroke. And I'm like, so what I'm finna do right now? Because
I mean, you clocked in. There's no help in the ED. You chose that life.
I'm like, yeah. This is a fake badge. Just how I feel at that badge. I'm like, this is a fake badge. So I'm just here for the check.
Okay, so your decoration. A decoration that's you one of them Halloween.
Just like them glasses I be wearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, but it's crazy when they bring that. And I'm like, you got to give a report. Now you start forgetting stuff. Because the EMS is like, yo, the patient needs. And I'm like, understandable.
It's like forgetting some minor details is cool. But don't be giving a report. Patient stable, whatever. And patients coming up. I see coming down the hallway. They vomit at least twice. They're rapid AFib. They got all these things going on, and you telling me the patient is stable? Like it's a 30-year-old patient?
So boom. I can't speak for other nurses, but I have never on everything. Never sent a patient up like that. However, I did have one patient I almost sent up. She was good, chilling, right, vibing. All she said is she needs to use the bathroom. Cool. I'm about to put her on the bedpan because I can't remember something wrong with her legs. She couldn't really walk. I'm going to put her on the bedpan.
I'm sure that wasn't in report.
Right?
That part.
I didn't get to give a report. I was about to. I put her on the bedpan and was about to go give a report, right? I come back. And I look at her. She was on telemetry. I see 230 something.
Now
I go in the room.
Good.
Exactly. I'm like, yo, what is going on, right? So I look at her, I'm like, you good? And she was like, I don't know. And I'm
not you good as the assessment. First of all, yo, welcome to the emergency room, ladies and gentlemen.
Because I'm like, she blinking, she up, but I'm like, yo, all she did was pee, right? So, but now it's mad work because she's also a heavy lady too. So I'm like, all right, we gotta get the bedpan off her. And we got to start pushing meds, right? The doctor's running. They're like, what you do? I'm like, sir, relax. All I did was put the lady on the bedpan. I don't know what's going on with her heart, why it's bugging like this. But I'm like, I guess we need to start pushing meds. Your study, I asked me questions. Just put the orders in, right? So I'm like, what do y'all want? We doing verbal orders. I'm trying to make sure, I don't mess up. But this is my first job. I'm off orientation, stressed as hell, right? Then I already know I got 4, 5, 6 other patients that I need to tend to. One was septic, I remember that. The other one, I can't remember. But I'm like, I ain't sent her up. See, I did y'all a favor.
Surprise.
You really be hating. Come down to the ED.
For what?
I'm not
I
there
clock
anymore.
all y'all. For what? What am I going there for?
It's a vibe.
A vibe for what?
It's a vibe.
Yeah, because I be getting rid of your patients. Congratulations.
No, we don't.
Get rid of your patients because they send them to the floor.
We be fighting with the damn, especially the ICUs. To send the patient up. You know how many times we call
ICU's different world. ICU's different.
They be wildin'.
ICUs are going to be arguing back with y'all. But the thing is, ICU is a specialty. They have, unless if it's MICU, because I feel like MICU takes, if CCU is not accepting you, if neuro's not accepting you or whatever, sick you're not qualified for any of those three. Now we're going to MICU. So MICU, I feel like, has a less room to be like deny the patient, but of course they're going to look at the patient and be like, you're stable, you can go to like a step down unit or whatever the case is.
All these patients we coding, we need to put them on ECMO. They gotta go somewhere. We not like, I'm so sorry, we not sending them home on ECMO.
Not impressed,
right? ICU saying no, all the ICU denying that. I'm like, I'm confused because you have a bed on unit for the patient. That means it's acceptance. You're taking the patient. I don't really understand how you could deny when the patient has a bed, right? So boom, patients end up coding again. We coding them. The thing now, because the patient has a bed on ICU, they belong to them. So we can't stop coding the patient until the ICU says stop.
You chose this life.
Right now. So I'm like, so the ICU doctor has to come in, and there's always some dumb crap like, let's do a finger stick. I said, I wonder what this finger stick gonna be when we record this patient for 2-3 hours. I'd be surprised if he's even 6 at that point.
Again, you chose this life. You chose to work in the bowels of the hospital. That's what the ED is. The ED is usually, if you're working at an acute care, like, hospital level 1 trauma center type of thing or whatever, it's going to be high turnover with your patients. It's going to be crazy, whatever.
It's fine.
Blah, blah, blah.
But make it make sense. Some parts can make sense. You
chose this life. Yeah, you chose it. That's not a problem.
No. It's a hospital thing where things don't make sense.
Well, what doesn't make sense? Get a report from ED nurses. Okay? That's all I'm saying. But anyways, let's get started. What made you get into nursing?
So actually, I originally was pre-med, like most people. I was pre-med. I'm like, I'm finna be a doctor, right? And I realized I was miserable. And it was like my freshman year of undergrad, pre-med. I was also dancing and not like jumping it like this high.
Oh, I know. But, I didn't know if you want to go into specifics, and I was going to judge you. I was going to let that happen. It like this high.
I should have been they be making bands.
Okay.
But I was dancing. I did like ballet, hip hop, jazz, whatever. And I was getting like 4 in the morning, 3 in the morning, and not getting back home till like 10 p.m., 11. Still having to do homework, repeat it all over again. I got so stressed that pretty much my lungs started to fail. And I was so stressed out that my lungs started to fail pretty much. And I just wasn't feeling well one day. And I remember going to the bathroom. I'm like I felt like I couldn't breathe, and I felt like I was like struggling. So I went, and it felt like my throat was sore. So I went in the bathroom to like look back at my throat, and blood came out. And I said, "That ain't good."
It's not.
Right? Yeah. It's not. So I don't think that's supposed to happen like that. Right? So whatever, they rushed me to the emergency room. Gang. Shout out to the ER nurses who helped me.
Rolls eyes, if y'all can't tell.
And the doctor pretty much said like it's just like stress induced, and that like my lungs damn near started like, I don't know, like eat away at itself. I have to look back at my medical records.
That's crazy.
And I remember they had to place me on like an immune suppressant, like calm things down, and like I think they also did like maybe antibiotic fungal. I don't know. I don't remember. But I remember after that I vowed to myself that I was never going to let myself get that stress like that, which I lied because it happened again in nursing school. When I drove myself to the ER, I'm not going to take that test.
Good thing you're a nursing student driving yourself to the hospital. You know what? Let this be a reminder to everyone out there. If you are not feeling well, please do not drive yourself to the hospital. Because prioritize. At the minimum, you could at least Uber. I don't know what Uber drivers expect, accepting you.
The way I was ruck
the ambulance
in nursing school.
The ambulance. The ambulance.
The way I was ruck in nursing school, I was not taking no Uber. Nowhere.
So driving your car and now something happens to you, or if you did something to somebody else, is better. I mean, I'm glad you made it. Praise God.
Look, but I know I was just bugging. Like, it's not like my heart or anything. I was just like so stressed out. I was like, yo, I'm not finna take these exams. I had like 2 big exams, and I was so stressed out for them. I'm like, if I go to the ER, I'll get a note and I won't have to take the test.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so I'm not finna go there.
All right.
And I went there and ended up seeing my friend Janie Gang. Shout out to JD. And we saw each other was dying laughing because we both bugging out. And we like, nah, we like, yo, we go home. And we took the test. And we actually did well.
Oh, well.
But yeah.
So why'd
like,
you get into nursing? Like, what? How we get from
so
pre-med
boom.
to?
So after that,
Mm-hmm.
when I was an undergrad, went to the hospital. I changed.
Mm-hmm.
And I stopped pre med and I went into math. I was a math major actually. Did like even up to numerical analysis. Like I was pretty invested in the math major, but I've always was good at math. I'm like, yo, I can't do this like all day long. It felt kind of repetitive, and I get bored like that. So I'm like, nah, I can't do this. So I switched from math and I went into psych, right? And I
Oh,
started.
you've been around the block.
Let me stop.
Okay.
Right. So I went to psych, but now I'm like, this is cool, but I'm gonna make money too, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I enjoy psych, so I actually still continue that. But I don't even know how I got into anthropology. So yeah, so my major actually is psych and biomedical anthropology. I was studying human behavior and studying monkeys on the side.
That's wild,
right? But and then it was like the end of my sophomore year. I was like, yo, I started volunteering because I love kids, and I was volunteering at NYU on their pediatric unit, and I loved it. And I bonded with the nurses. I just loved what they did, and I was like, yo. And I still always loved health. Like I watched like mad shows, like medical shows and everything. So I always knew I loved like medicine. And I was like, I think I need to go into nursing, which is why I had to post back because I figured my life out too late. So by the time I figured it out, I was like a junior. I didn't have as much time, so I started to take like my credits, my courses and things. And then I did a post back program. And I was like, yeah, I think nursing is it. And I told myself though, if I ain't get to no nursing schools, I applied to like 3 or 4 of them. If I ain't get into none, it wasn't for me.
It was what?
It wasn't for me.
Oh,
that mean God didn't want to be a nurse, but I got into 2 schools. So, I mean, I guess God wanted me to be a nurse. And then went to nursing school.
So now, when you graduated, did you go right to the ED or did you like start somewhere else? Like what?
From nursing school? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went straight into the ED. I did like a fellowship program.
Did you want to go into the ED or like?
So I still love the ED. Now I do labor delivery, but I told myself I started to there was after nursing school. I was struggling. I felt like my mind was clouded. I was like stressed about the NCLEX, was uncertain about myself. Like I'm like, what am I going to do? I feel like mad of my colleagues. Like they had jobs, like my peers, had jobs straight out without even having a nursing license. I feel like it started to like make me feel self-conscious. I'm like, damn, like I don't even have a job. So I'm like, you know what, Tanesha, you need to calm down. Like, don't worry about other people. Like, focus on you and write it out. Because I do believe when you write things out, I don't know, for me, I feel like you manifest it.
Yeah.
So I wrote it out and I said like by like it was I think October 2021, I was gonna have a job in the ED, labor delivery, or NICU. I've always known, or neuro. Those was always like the 4 I've liked. And I still like ED. I still like NICU, but I get my little taste on labor delivery with the babies. But some of the patients be low-key neuro patients, they be little. But yeah, so from the ED, I enjoyed it. But what I didn't like is that I felt like it was falsely advertised to me.
In terms of what?
With the trauma, level 1, trauma #1 center. And, my nursing school was in Maryland. Then I saw traumas there. Like their ERs, especially the shock trauma unit, like in like Maryland, like there's trauma, like proper traumas there. So that is what I saw, and that is what I kind of expected, even from watching like medical emergency shows and everything. So I went to the ER ready, but not forgetting I'm not at Jamaica Hospital. You know what I mean? Like there's certain demographics, and it's just there's certain type of patients that you get. And my hospital, like it's predominantly like older.
It's not the trauma you would like.
Yeah, it's not gunshots, stabbings all the time.
We're not at
exactly. And like with that, I wasn't the only person. It was actually me and a couple people in my cohort. We was like, yo, this is not what we really expected. Like and the funny thing is, the one thing I said was I never want to work with older adults. Like I never want to do a geriatric population. And I actually vibe with them. They are big vibes. Because they have like their life is so like seasoned, I guess. Yeah. Like they teach you a lot you can learn. But
you'd be surprised talking to your older patient, like what do you learn?
But my problem is I was becoming so connected to them. Like it was actually hurting me more that I'm like, nah, I can't do geriatrics. Because I realized I connect with them like very quickly.
Yeah.
So with that being my main population, and I felt bad because I'm looking at them, I'm like, these people do not need to be in the ER. They need to be like, a lot of them need more one-on-one care, and I cannot give it to them in the ER. Like, so I just didn't like that, and I'm like, I would never forget. I went to work. I had like 6 or 7 patients, and I was sitting there charting. And I just got up and I'm done. Literally mid job. Yeah, nobody.
You went home?
No, I went to my manager. I said, "Yeah, I can't do it." Yeah, I told them like, I'm done. I can't do it.
How far into your shift were you?
Huh?
Do you remember how far into your shift were you?
I think I was like 2-3 hours into my shift, yo. To be honest, because I did a 2:30 to like 2:30 a.m. shift. I think it was like 4:30 something 5 around that time, and I'm like, yeah, I'm done.
So what was that conversation like?
And I was done because I remember I started to have negative thoughts about like ending my life, and I'm like, yo, nothing's that serious.
Oh, wow.
Like, and I was just so miserable.
Wow.
I was so miserable, but I was working because I had bills to pay, help my mom out financially. Like, there's so many people relying on me, and it was just so much stress. So I was just pushing through for them, but like, I was miserable. I did not want to be there. I wasn't vibing with the people. My preceptor, it was, again, not a great situation. But I went to my manager. I told him, like, yo, it's nothing, like, really against y'all. I just can't. I told him, like, how miserable I am. And I said, I just wanted, I wanted them to hear it from me. Like, I didn't want no rumors going around and stuff like that. And I told them, like, I just can't. Like, I was saying, I don't know if I could have, like, a week off or whatever.
Did they give you time?
Yeah. So they gave me time. And I was like, I told them, like, in the meantime, I'm going to look for jobs and everything and let them know. And they actually helped me find my other job. Oh. But yeah, they said like they like just appreciated me, like just letting them know, like, straight up, just like how I was feeling, because a lot of people just like they just leave without really saying anything or whatever. And they helped me find, and that's how I ended up on labor and delivery, because my educator, she reached out to our educator, but then they still try to play me. Trying to say, like, at the end, like, I did the interview, everything was mad good, seemed like people loved me, and then, like, nothing.
Silence,
like,
it's crickets.
Yeah, for, like, 2-3 months, and I'm hitting people up. They're like, nah, you can't have the job, And they're like, I'm like, for what? And they said there was some new policy that you had to be, like, the hospital for a year.
Oh, before you could get transferred?
And I said, yeah, and y'all did this on this date.
Wait, and how long had it been at that point? From when you, like, when you had your interview or whatever, like how long did you stay in the ED?
It was like about like 6 months. I started in January, and I remember that they created that policy June 1st, I think. Okay. And I had the interview with them like a week before that policy. So I'm like, nah, because like that policy don't apply to me. I did everything before. Yeah. So that none of that applies to me. So I had to going back and forth. And I got defeated again because I'm like, damn, like I'm like, yo, everything's a fucking fight. I felt like everything is a fight in my life, and I'm like, there's so many people who don't have to fight, and I felt like it wasn't fair, and I'm like, yo, I'm done. So I'm like, I don't even care anymore. I just moved on. So I'm like, let me just apply to other jobs, right? But I'm like, I started thinking, and one of my friends, he was like, yo, Tanesha, he was like, don't change who you are. He was like, you a fighter. And he was like, nothing bad about that. And he was like, stop viewing you fighting as a bad thing. A lot of people don't have the energy to do it, or like that strength. And he's like, you do, so use it. So I'm like, you right. So
I was dropping gems.
Yeah, so I right in my little email, sent that, and I started the whole thing over. And I'm like, nah, I'm like, this, y'all need to prove to me I can't be on labor and delivery. I did the interview, I did well, like they loved it. I'm like,
so what's up?
Yeah, exactly. Damn, my whole lashes for the low.
Woo, oh my gosh. The ghetto.
My lashes. But after that, it was like August. Yeah, it was August, and it hurt me because like I remember when I left, I didn't tell my mom. Because I was so ashamed of myself. I felt like an embarrassment. I felt like a quitter. So I didn't tell my mom when I left the job. Again, my mom still asked for money. My mom still needs this. And I'm just
wait, when you say you left, like as in you left the ED and left like work?
Yeah, I wasn't working anymore.
Oh, I thought like, I guess the way you maybe I was confused. I thought that you were still like, I thought that you had came back like after like having some time off.
No, so
like you left.
Yeah, I went on leave.
Okay.
So I still had a couple of checks, but then the check stopped after a while. You know what I mean? Like after your time runs out.
Yeah.
So I should have been on a disability. He wants to have disability. Anyway, but oh, like that's what I should have been on that.
Separate conversation.
So yeah, I was on leave and I'm over there trying to figure out how to make things work. So I'm doing Shipt, I'm doing Uber on the side. Yo, it was interesting.
A little rough.
And I remember I called my dad and I broke down to him. And my dad, like, he was a very quiet man. But like we never really lived together because my mom, they was wilding. My parents was wilding. They were not meant to be together. But I called him because I'm like, he's the only person I feel like wouldn't judge me. Because no matter what I did in my life, he never felt like I was wrong. So I called him and I pretty much told him like I want to kill myself. Like I told him everything I was feeling. And obviously, like we prayed together. He prayed for me and everything, and he just like pretty much told me to keep my head up. Like things gonna happen. And he died. I had that conversation with him like May, and then I spoke to him. Obviously, he was checking up and everything. No, I had that conversation with him in June. Yes, I had that conversation in June, and July 28th he died, and I got the job like a week or two later.
Wow.
And I'm about to get emotional.
Oh my god.
Don't do it. Damn, yo.
It's all right. It's okay.
But I never got to tell him. Yeah. And that hurt. Yeah. Got me freaking crying, yo.
Listen, it's all right. I feel like, I love that he encouraged you and tried, and did everything to keep your head up. And I feel like, he was watching out for you, like, and, sent you that job.
Yeah, exactly.
Like he saw exactly what you was going through, especially because whenever you're going through something and like, people don't know and you're like struggling and you're like trying to keep it together, and you can't say anything, you can't break down. Everybody's looking at you like you're strong and whatever. And like
I don't want to be strong right now. Like you just want to like have a moment to be vulnerable.
Soft, I just want a moment to be soft.
And
I mean, I can't relate in terms of like losing a parent in that way, but in terms of like being strong and having to be strong and feeling like the weight of the world is on your shoulders and you feel like it's so hard to talk to people, which is why, honestly, this is like one of the reasons why I wanted to create the show, because I just feel like as nurses, like, so I've been around. Like I was an LPN for 6 years. I started and, became an RN, whatever. Yeah. But I'm also a talker. And so I hated the fact that like, one, nurses don't give nurses information like that. Yeah. 2, nurses eat their young.
That thing is sick.
It is sick. 3, you'd be surprised. Like I've talked to travelers. I've talked to like a lot of people, and just in seeing how many nurses have so many issues like going on, but like, and sometimes feeling stuck, like you're like stuck in the sense that like you're working and you have to make ends meet. You can't leave your job because you have people depending on yourself on top of that, whatever, and feeling like you can't go anywhere. You tried to make the steps, you maybe don't have the connections, or you did have the connection, nothing happened, and whatever. And I feel like this is almost like in a way therapeutic, because like we're talking to each other, but I feel like other people will listen and get something out of it. Like keep your head up. If you need to get out of wherever you need to get out of, like, one, talk to someone, find someone that you trust. Maybe it might not be somebody on the unit, or maybe it is somebody on the unit that you can trust, because that's important. Or, seek out therapy or whatever, take care of yourself. But I feel like I said, we go through so much as nurses, and not only we have to come into the door and leaving all our stuff behind, because now we're taking care of someone else.
Yeah.
And whether you have a population where you're working as, a 1-to-1 ratio or 1-to-2 ratio or whatever, or maybe you have 6, 7, 8 patients, or let's say you're doing IV infusion, you're still talking to someone that's coming to you. And as nurses, we're the therapist, we're the advocate.
It's
we're
literally a physical, mental, emotional, and like
you take a lot of stuff on, and so like, I'm glad you shared that. I know that that's not, you probably was not expecting that. I wasn't expecting that. But I'm glad that you shared that because I feel like it's something important that people do need to see. Like, we are real people taking care of real people, but we also need to be able to help ourselves too. And I just feel like in being able to talk to someone who understands your background is therapeutic.
I agree. It was actually even hard for me, like when I started labor delivery, because like again, my father recently died, and everyone thinks I'm a baby. I look young to a lot of people. I don't know if I look young here, but
girl, bye. First of all, A, you're black, so exactly. It's given 18 or less.
But people were like, "Oh my god, you're so young," right? And I get that a lot, and they would say, "Oh, like,"
but you are young.
I am young. Okay. Right? Yeah, I am young.
Don't be saying it like you said before.
No, I am young, but people are like, oh, like, did your mom, blah, blah, or did your dad? And people like the father like, oh, if they're having a girl, they're like, do you give your dad trouble? And like a lot of times they ask me about like my relationship with my dad, like all the fathers, and I'm like, it was fresh. So I'm like, damn, it was hard for me a lot, like seeing like fathers with their daughters and stuff like that. Because I'm like, yo, I'm not gonna have that anymore.
Girl,
but
I can relate to, and sometimes it still does, but I just try to hold it together where I realize like when I'm ready to have kids, I'm never gonna have that. Even if she's like still alive, like when I do have kids, I'm not going to have that relationship where like I can share with her. And she always was like, I can't wait to see like my grandkids. I can't wait to like, she was like the only sibling that doesn't have any grandchildren yet or whatever. So she would be on me, especially like I got married. So she was like, hello, what's going on here? You know, whatever. But like it would kill me seeing moms like, you know, and it didn't even matter in what sense it would. It could be a great relationship where like they're so doting, and it could be the worst relationship where like the like, mom, get out of this room. I like, and I could see them being so rude, and I can't put my personal feelings on that, but regardless,
you don't have
at the end of the day,
to have either like anymore. Like
I would still carry that as I'm walking to my car, or like even on my break. There'd be times like I'd be on my break, and I'd like go and I would not stay on the unit. I would go and somewhere, and I would literally like cry. I'd be walking in the hallways, just literally wiping my tears because I'm just like, it's just something I would never be able to have.
I feel that.
You know? So like,
I feel that.
I could completely understand, and like, you know, it's unfortunate. It's a part of life, you know. They say it makes us stronger, you know, and then it never feels like it in the moment.
Yeah, there's other ways to make us stronger.
Yeah,
you know, that's how I be feeling like this.
I feel like our patients be making us strong.
Exactly. You know? Like there's other ways. You know,
our patients be doing that, but you know, I think it's even though it sucks to share that, I feel like it's something beautiful to share.
Yeah.
You rocking with us?
Yeah.
I know your dad's proud of you.
Yeah, I'm like, I talk to him, but I'm like, just, you know, you just think about it, or even little, like it's like I said, the little things, like just you see like a girl, like I notice like when I see daughters having little arguments with their dad, I'm like, damn, like
you have no idea what it's like to not have this, because you don't even know, like you don't know what someone else is going through, and I get it. Like when you have a laboring patient, it's not everything is really about them and the baby. They're not thinking about how, you know, some people, I can't say this doesn't apply to every patient. You know, some patients actually do care about like, oh my gosh, my nurse, you know, whatever. Yeah. But 9 times out of 10, like that's not what you're coming into the hospital. You're not coming to the hospital for me.
Yeah, exactly.
You're coming to the hospital for a reason. Like whether, and it doesn't matter whether you're a laboring patient or not, you're coming to the hospital for a reason. So you're not thinking about other people, you know. So sometimes you don't even see how you're treating people, you might not even be treating the person like, you know, any kind of way, but the way that you're talking to your family member, the way you're talking to your loved one, you don't even realize the impact that you have, because the person that may be in the background, you know, doesn't have that, wishes that they could take what you're taking for granted, wishes that they could have.
It's also hard, like you just a lot of times have to wear a mask sometimes, like literally.
The
other day people were asking me, oh, how come you wearing a mask? And I'm like, I literally could not force myself to smile. Like I just was not in the mental space. Like I did not feel good. I just couldn't. So I wore a mask because I'm like, I can't fake it. And I feel like I shouldn't have to fake it. It's not therapeutic. It's not good for people to have to fake it like that. But like them, you don't know. Even like simple things, like even if I'm going to McDonald's, like I try to do things where like to compliment people or like tell them have a good day, or like, oh, you okay? Because you never know what people are really going
You
through.
never know.
And I'm like, you just there for what you need or what you want.
Yeah.
And like that person's whole life could be in shambles.
Yeah.
So I'm like, just taking a second sometime, like say like, you okay? Or
Yeah,
like
to really ask, like,
it really does, like,
yeah.
and I think with nursing, and like it really emphasizes, because we come in at nursing again, mentally taxing, physically and emotionally.
Yeah.
Right. So we can have our own stuff. Now we still gotta take on your stuff.
Yeah.
Make sure we try to make you feel happy, you feel good, empower you. When we hanging on by a thread, like
the thinnest thread that you'd be like, I actually don't even know how you're connected. I actually don't even know
and
how
I'm
making it.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't regret nursing.